Alright, you lot. You ever post one tweet, just one, and summon spirit of every rejected Reddit mod in a 10-mile radius? I said, Splitgate 2 is a fucking beta, and it plays better than most $70 releases. Meanwhile, XDefiant needed CPR, and its consultants were too busy licking Call of Duty algorithms boots. Our mate Expert Terminal drops. It's a travesty chokehold Ubisoft had on XDefiant, and I totally agree. Bright slithered Blurthurusion, keyboard loaded, grammar disabled, ready to rewrite history with confidence for a flat earth preacher holding Tom Henderson pamphlet. And what followed were legendary. Right then, Blurthurusion kicks things off like he's delivering courtroom testimony from a padded cell. XDefiant's not dead cause of Ubisoft, he says. It's Mark Rubin's fault. Yeah, Rubin. We're off to a good start, lads. He doubles down with sort of certainty that it only comes from someone who reads 3 headlines and thinks they're an analyst. He made promises he couldn't keep. He backtracked. He failed players. Like Ubisoft were just an innocent bystander holding rope, while Rubin tight noose himself. And then our man Expert Terminal steps in. Not with froth, not with bile, but with cold precision of a sniper. Explain what Rubin did wrong exactly. You know, a simple question. What does Blurthurusion serve up? Buffet of contradiction. First course. He marketed game as a COD killer and then acted like he didn't. Except he didn't. Community called it that. Rubin actively pushed against that label. But you know, facts are hard when ego's allergic to them. Second course. He acted like working on Modern Warfare 2 makes him best person for the job. Mate, that's literally reason anyone trusted game. You're building a boots-on-ground arena shooter, and you don't mention your time building most iconic one? What's he supposed to say? I used to design menus in Viva Pinata, trust me. Terminal counters this logic. If you want someone to make a COD-style shooter, wouldn't you trust guy who worked on COD? But Twonk's hamster wheel brains short circuits. He won't making COD though. That's point. Oh, great. We're at toddler tantrum phase already. Pull up a chair. Shit's just warming up. Now here's where it gets juicy, cause while Blurthurusion's flinging recycled Reddit gossip like the gospel, let's talk about actual pedigree. Name Pete Activist probably don't ring many bells for a lot of you in shooter genre, but he is currently game director for Call of Duty Warzone. So let's take a closer peek at Pete's golden resume, shall we? Before he was game director of Warzone, Pete was designing Toy Story 3, Cars 2, Disney Infinity, Blitz, League 2. He went from Buzz Lightyear to ballistic weapons, like he speedran puberty on Unreal Engine. Mortal Kombat X? Yep. Injustice 2? Sure. But Warzone? Man were one of many designers in a rotating circus of studios. Now he's supposedly running Big Show. And here's Blurthurusion completely forgetting that no one shat on Rubin for being a producer on Modern Warfare 2 when they were singing game's praises. He were a major part of Infinity Ward during its golden years. Man helped ship COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2, holy scripture or FPS, not some side quest dev with Lightning McQueen lunchbox. But that's the thing about these terminally online melt merchants. They'll trust legacy or a bloke who helped balance Pixar racing games before trusting guy who literally defined modern shooters. It's not about logic to them, it's about tribalism. It's a cult brain. And that's why Expert Terminal keeps hammering point. Credibility matters. If you're building a game with gunplay, pace, and flow inspired by COD's DNA, then yeah, maybe the guy who helped create that DNA knows what he's doing. But nah, not according to Blurthurusion. He'd rather trust vague vibes and fanfiction. Why? Because in his world, facts are optional and spelling is aspirational. And here's where Twonk starts frothing like soda can in a paint mixer. Blurthurusion's next pearls of wisdom? That Rubin refused to launch when COD was weak. And that was some kind of unforgivable crime. Like launching your game later than Twitter's favourite window means you've committed heresy. Never mind actual reasons like back-end issues, polish, logistics. Nah, he just wanted to spike success. Then he claims Rubin launched it with fewer features than COD. No shit! It's a new IP, not a multi-billion-dollar franchise with 20 years of bloat duct tape to its engine like a corpse in a wedding dress. He's whining about no S&D, no kill cam, no camo, no weapon inspects. Like a bloke walking into a corner shop and crying they don't serve caviar. Mate, it's a free-to-play shooter. You don't need kill cams when your ego's already doing backflips off scoreboard. But most deranged bit? He picked fights with people he disagrees with. Oh, sorry. What's he supposed to do? Send a fruit basket to every clout-chasing YouTuber who lies about game? Give him a coupon code for misinformation? Blurthurusion's logic is broken, but he delivers it with confidence of a cult leader in TikTok Live. Everything good in XDefiant was just Rubin wanting credit. Says guy who literally can't spell Rubin's name right. You couldn't even Google man's Wikipedia page before launching a 3-hour smear campaign. But sure, you know his motives. He calls Rubin prime example of what not to do when making a game, while holding up Warzone. Yeah, Warzone as a glowing success story. Same Warzone that's been drowned in cheaters, bloat and seasonal rot. Same game that now sells kid skins in a mature shooter with more input lag than a toaster strapped to a generator. We're through Looking Glass, folks. And while Blurthurusion's running laps in Delusion Olympics, Terminal's still there, calmly dismantling every point with receipts and reason. But we're not done yet, cause it's time for Twonk to unveil his holy trinity of sources. And oh boy, you're not ready. First up, FandomWire article. Already off to a shaky start, but alright, let's entertain fantasy. Then comes 80.lv post, cause clearly a blog that normally talks about Blender updates and Unreal tutorials, it's go-to authority on AAA Studio Dynamics. And finally, Holy Grail of Twonkdom, an article by Tom fucking Henderson. And look, Tom Henderson writes about games where a guy who just read a Reddit comment and asked ChatGPT to stretch it into 800 words would. Half speculation, half anonymous sources, all wrapped in that same desperate attempt at relevance. It's like TMZ a shooter discourse, technically not lying, just selectively breathless. But here's what Terminal and I did that Blurthurusion didn't. We actually read articles. And surprise, surprise, none of them say what Blurthurusion claims to do. Not one quote backs up his twisted narrative. It's like watching someone yell, "I read it in a book once," and then hand you a fucking IKEA manual. But best part of this tantrum, his identity collapses in real time. He's no longer arguing, he's spiralling. He's calling himself right without proof, declaring victory mid-defeat, like a kid who rage quit Monopoly and flipped board but still says, he won. And while he's screaming into the void, there's expert Terminal, calm, surgical, handing out verbal chloroform like he's doing a TED talk in the middle of a riot. Every time Blurthurusion tried to drag debate into nonsense, Terminal brought it back to logic, asking for evidence, explaining context, and highlighting how badly this bloke misunderstood what he were quoting. Terminal didn't just win argument, he made sure corpses were identified, buried, and gravestone engraved with "Here lies Blurthurusion, slayer of straw men." Then he drops this little nugget. Now also, I don't know if this is confirmed, but Ubi spent 2.1 million on marketing through content creators for AC Shadows, so this wouldn't surprise me if it were true. With a little screenshot taken from a Reddit comment. That's when I chimed in. Couldn't help myself. Blurthurusion's over here treating Reddit threads and Tom's fanfiction like it's declassified Pentagon documents. So I dropped line, first you cite Tom Henderson article as gospel, now you're quoting fucking Reddit? Bitch, get out of here with that shit. Cue Meltdown. He pivots from full intellectual to full-on personal insults like he's speedrunning a rage quit. You get your content from comment sections. You've only got 200 views. You're a plumber or some shit. Ah, yeah. When argument's dead, attack YouTuber. Classic Twonk playbook. But here's best bit. He calls me channel Ragebait, says I don't understand games, mocks me gameplay stats, and still haven't proven a single thing he said about Rubin. Not one quote, not one receipt, not one shred of evidence to show that Mark ever said, I worked on COD for 10 years, there's no one better for this job. He made it up, and when asked to prove it, what does he say? I'll get that evidence when you get me evidence that players at Reason XDefiant died. Go on, I'll wait. Mate, irony's so thick you could bottle it and sell it as gravy. We're not just dealing with a twonk, we're dealing with a walking, talking monument to projection. And here's piece de resistance. Meltdown proper. Blurthurusion goes from, I'm just presenting facts, to, Your YouTube channel is trash, your views are low, your KD's probably lower, and you're a plumber. All we ain't emotional range or a toddler denied a Happy Meal. Mate, when fuck did everything become about numbers? Low subs? Must be a shit channel. Low KD? Must be a shit player. Low player count? Must be a shit game. World's not a fucking spreadsheet. Half of your worship stats like the gospel, then wonder why everything feels soulless. You can't quantify art. You can't grasp passion. You think bigger always means better. That's how we ended up with microtransaction bloating premium games, algorithm slaves, and YouTubers who fake laugh for 12 minutes straight just to please almighty watch time. Some of the best games you'll ever play have 400 players and a dev team powered by coffee and trauma. Some of the best players you'll ever meet aren't chasing clout, they're just here for the game. And some of the best creators on any platform are buried under noise because algorithm thinks passion is a weak CTR. Here's your Twonk badge. Projection-powered rage golem with a KD-based identity crisis. Have a nice day. There was so much more I could have covered with this Twonk. There were even more that could have been said. Honestly though, I got bored, and I had work to do. So I left him with a little dig about needing COD SBMM and jacking off to a Bobby Kotick poster. He lost it with a hypocrite move. This is what happens when you can't prove players that recent game is dying, lol. And that screeching's died down, and Battlefield smells like burnt ego and failed Reddit quotes. Let's switch gears for the final blow. See, while Blurthurusion were frothing about Mark Rubin lied and abandoned game, real people, actual devs, were still trying to save it. I'm not naming names, but I had a private exchange with one of XDefiant developers right after shutdown news hit. I said, I want to say thanks for creating something that has made some awesome memories and fantastic friendships. It's disappointing it has to end, but as each door closes, a new one opens. Be sure to stay in touch. I'm going to be continuing my channel's journey, and I'd be interested to hear what's next for yours. Stay safe out there, and again, thanks for memories. And what they said strips every last word of Blurthurusion's bile for what it is. Complete fantasy. Here's what they told me. I appreciate your kind words. We on the team, those of us who are remaining and haven't been laid off, are absolutely gutted about what's happened. We really hope that the game will be given a chance to prove itself. Sure, there were issues and we knew there were many, but we had so many great plans and we feel like XDefiant never showcased its true potential. This news is as much of a shock to us as it is for everybody else. I truly believed Mark when he made statements about the game living on. We were genuinely working on Season 5 and 6 content and maps. What's next for us as a team? I'm not sure, but it were a wild ride, and the XDefiant community are the best gaming community I've come across in a very long time. That's not spin, that's not PR fluff, that's not a Tom Henderson scoop glued together with anonymous complaints and half-baked generalisations. That's someone who gave a shit, someone who believed in project, someone who knew work wasn't done, but still had it torn from their hands by execs with all foresight or a blindfolded goat. So Blurthurusion, you can keep screaming about ego games and failed promises, but truth is, Mark Rubin and devs were still building, still open, still trying, right up until rug got yanked. And all your little conspiracy theories and strawman bollocks, they'll collapse under weight of that reality. Finally, let's give proper flowers where they're fucking due. Because while I were busy with day job to respond, Expert Terminal were out here doing Lord's work, ripping through every delusion with surgical precision and patience for a man who's dealt with one too many Reddit refugees in his mention. He didn't just clap back, he anchored entire debate in logic. Every time Blurthurusion moved goalposts, Terminal dragged conversation back to reality. You blame Rubin, show your work. You call it a COD clone, who better to lead it than someone who built COD. You say it failed from inside, then explain why devs were still grinding on future seasons when Axe dropped. And when Twonk pulled out his holy trinity of sources like they were ironclad proof, Terminal calmly read them. No tantrums, no shouting, just quiet power as someone who knows bullshit when it walks into a room wearing a Tom Henderson t-shirt. This video wouldn't exist without Expert Terminal loading line. He gave context. He brought receipts. He forced Blurthurusion to spiral into exact meltdown we just feasted on. So do me a favour, go follow this legend. Expert Terminal is out here on YouTube, Twitch and TikTok, cutting through misinformation like a goddamn katana made of common sense. Cause while Blurthurusion were busy drowning in his own contradictions, Terminal were busy winning. Here's your bouquet, mate. You earned every petal. Right, let's tally damage. 1 Twonk dismantled, 1 Meltdown immortalised, and 1 developer team getting respect they actually deserve. As for me, I'll keep dragging Spotlight where it belongs. I don't need views to justify truth. Twonks bring content, I just bring fire. Join Discord, follow on X, consider a channel membership. Smash like it, subscribe, drop your comment and questions below. If they're not complete bollocks. I'll see you next time, you magnificent